Welcome back to the Show Me Show podcast for episode whatever this is.
17.
Thank you. Welcome back. It's been a little bit, we had Memorial Day weekend off, but here's a little bit of an episode to send you into your weekend. We got Cardinals talk. Me and two of our friends went to a Cardinal game against the Blue Jays. We're going to break that down as well as the rest of their week, including the sweep over the Padres. Then we'll move on to some segments, some NFL news, and then in the NBA, the Celtics advance to the NBA Finals and will face off against the Warriors starting tonight, Thursday, June 2nd.
True.
And then, that'll be the episode. So
let's get right
into it. So welcome back. Seems like me and Cam have been here forever because, usually we'd be done about this time, done recording, but we had an unusual circumstance where we had our technology devices taken away from us. So,
yeah. I think we mentioned that we had to be switching technology as our Chromebooks went away, and we switched over to some new computers. And much like our very first episode, our inaugural episode, it took us about 2.5 hours to actually set up and get going. But here we are, we're back. It was a stressful 2.5 hours. We tried just about everything, did some driving around. But here we are, we've got the equipment ready to go. Clint's back. But yeah, that sucked. It really was our first episode where we had absolutely no idea what we're doing. Not that we have a hell of a lot of knowing what we
got comfortable with what we had, and then we had to switch devices. It was brand new all over again, basically, with the technology side of it. So, hopefully this works. Hopefully it all sounds okay. It might sound a little different than usual.
Yeah. But
I think let's talk some sports because I'm done talking technology.
It was a technology nightmare. Just ready for it to be over, but here we are. We mentioned in our last show, which it's been almost 2 weeks since our last show. Like Luke said, we didn't have a show on Memorial Day. That we got into the weekend, different circumstance for the show. But we did say that we were probably going to go to a Cardinals-Blue Jays game last time we were on the show, and we did just that. We went to the Tuesday, right? It was the Tuesday night game against the Blue Jays.
It was rain, everyone's talking rain, but didn't rain a single drop the entire night.
Nope. Actually, it was perfect weather. It was like 68, 70 degrees. Cloud coverage to kind of shield us from any humidity, too, as well. And great seats all throughout the night. Also, we didn't really have to pay a dime to go to this game.
No.
So, except for parking.
Yeah, sure.
So, and we didn't buy anything at the game. We just brought shit in. So that was
I think we had 4 of us, and we spent a total of $16.
Yeah. So
minus parking, obviously.
Minus parking, yeah. And we got exactly what we came for when we went to the game. Awesome powder Blue Jays jerseys, powder blue jerseys for the Jays. Matt Chapman, some sick plays from him. Vladdy bomb.
Yeah. So a nice diving play by Arenado as well.
Yeah, that's true. But that's literally like when we were talking about going to the Blue Jays game, we're like, we want to go to the Blue Jays because, one, they don't come to town very often until in the next coming years. They'll be coming to town every other year. But we wanted to see Vladdy. We got to see prime Vladdy. Pretty much, he hit a bomb. He also hit a
moonshot.
I can't remember if he roped a double or if it was just a single, a base hit. I can't remember. It's been almost 2 weeks now. Yeah, final was like 8-1. The Cardinals got absolutely shit pumped. We, of course, stayed for the whole thing. Hashtag true fan.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I mean,
by the end of the night, we were literally right behind the dugout.
yeah, there was literally about 1,000 people left in the stadium in the last inning, and security just didn't really care.
Yeah.
They just gave up. They're just like, let them have fun. If they're still here at this point, they deserve it. Yeah, they have to be dedicated fans. So.
Yep. Another thing I'd like to point out is as we were approaching the end of the game, we found a bag of hickory smoked almonds on the seat in front of us, completely sealed, unopened until we opened them. They were delicious. Awesome.
I'm not a big almond guy myself, but I had a handful of these, and I was like, oh my goodness, I might be an almond guy now.
Yeah, that's how good they were. We didn't get shot. That's another thing.
Or robbed.
Yeah. Didn't get rained on, like Luke said. So it was really perfect until the drive home. We got rained on, but way better than getting rained on while we were at the game.
Pissed on the roll.
Yeah. But yeah, lots of fun.
Also,
we did vomit.
We stopped it down. So we're like, we don't want to buy stadium food because it's more expensive than gas nowadays.
Yep.
So we're like, let's stop at Culver's on the way down. And as we're sitting there eating our food, this family next to us, they have a few little kids. And they all get up. I just hear, all right, time to go, guys. And I look over and this kid just rose up all over the floor, and then he walked right through it and continued to throw up. And all the workers were just in complete shock. And they stood there and watched, like,
yeah, I mean,
funny though for us.
I'm assuming it was the kid's Butterburger just all over the floor. And I mean, like Luke said, he literally just kept going and just also kept moving right through it. Like it was nothing. Like it was no big deal. The parent, especially the dad, had just that look on his face, like, "Oh no, I really just want to go home." It's just like one of those things. Like we were this close because they're getting ready to walk out, and then he just puked all over the floor. So, yeah, shout out to the Culver's workers.
True.
So
putting in the work.
Yeah,
great night of baseball. As I said, that's probably the best Cardinals loss I've been to. And as we were talking about how I thought I had broken the losing streak and how I was on a winning streak, here's the twist. I didn't wear Cardinals stuff for that game. I wore a regular sweatshirt, similar color to the shirt that I'm wearing right now. It was just like a white colored sweatshirt and a Blue Jays hat because I got this hat for Christmas. And I was like, when am I ever going to wear this? So I wore the Blue Jays hat. So, yeah. I mean, the winning streak continues. It's just for whatever team I, wear the hat of. Yeah. I'll just have to remember to wear Cardinals stuff from here on out.
It'll probably be a thumbnail this week. Oh, yeah. If you're on the YouTube, you'll see a picture of us at the game. Yeah, I was wearing my Blue Jays jersey, too. Yes. I never get to wear it out in public because why would I wear that?
Exactly.
So, yeah. And then after that game, the Cardinals split 2-2 with the Brewers, and then they just got done sweeping the Padres and Blake Snell and Machado and company and all those guys. So, not bad. And I think we talked about this too. It was that was the most fun blowout game that we've been to.
Oh yeah. Being able to move up at the end of the game, right behind the dugout.
Yeah, that was cool.
It was pretty sick. To see guys like Albert and all
right there in front of us.
Literally 5 feet in front of you. Well, a little bit more than that probably, but yeah, pretty close.
Yeah, and it's just that's why we go to the games. That's you don't get to do it that often, but that is fun. And like we said, didn't get shot, and that's sometimes one of the biggest things you think about when you go down into downtown St. Louis. So,
or just getting mugged or carjacked,
or going back to your car and shit's gone.
Yeah. Well, none of that happened, so we were either lucky or blessed.
Yep. So yeah. Since then, our dearest, was it the Blues, I think, were then eliminated.
Yeah.
Since the last show. They lost a heartbreaker in Game 6 against the Avalanche, literally with like 3 or 5 seconds left. Me and Luke didn't get to watch. At least I didn't. I didn't get to watch a single second of this game. We were actually graduating.
Yeah.
From high school during the game.
Could be a tough scene.
Yeah.
Almost.
We were supposed to graduate on that Thursday. Rained out. And then we graduated on that Friday during the actual game, and they lost. But since the show they also played Game 5, which was one of the best hockey games I've ever seen in the entire world.
One of the greatest periods.
Yes, yes, exactly. So,
first 2 periods were rather miserable, but the third period was very incredible. And of course, the overtime winner by Tyler Bozak. At that moment, I was like, man, we might actually win this series.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah,
we don't have Bennington, so that was impossible.
Yeah, I mean, we were in it until the very end. Like we said, Game 6 was literally a heartbreaker. So, yeah, and then some stuff that happened in the NFL since we've been gone. David Njoku got a big contract from the Brownies, 4 years, $56 million. Was imminent after letting Austin Hooper go. Kaepernick got a workout with the Raiders, so this was like a week ago. Deion Jones, the Falcons step of the linebackers, out for the year, it looks like.
Yeah,
so,
but it's also the Falcons. We talked about them last week on the wheel of teams, and yeah.
Yeah. Some more recent news, actually. My guy, Stephon Do-It from the Steelers, he retired after 7 years, at the age of 29. So that kind of leaves a hole in the Steelers front 7. Who else? Oh, Aaron Donald
might retire.
Yeah, he might retire. Has gone balls to the wall that he might retire, saying that he's at peace with his career. Yeah, I think that's pretty much what's going on in the NFL.
Not much.
Yeah, not a whole lot. But we'll shoot on over to the NBA real quick. So Game 7 was
Sunday night.
Jimmy Butler forced Game 7 on his own pretty much in Game 6 by dropping 47 on his head.
And then he dropped 40 again on...
Yeah, almost 40. I think he dropped 35 or 38.
Yeah, it was somewhere in that range. It was an incredible amount still.
Yeah. Game 7, final score was 100-96. Heat never had a lead in that game, but the ending of that game was super memorable. The Heat got white hot, I guess you should say, towards the very
end. No racism either, just that's their turn.
Yeah, that's just their turn. Max Strus hit a unbelievable 3 running jumper that brought him within like 2, and Marcus Smart just kept breaking wide open shots that were open, so it wasn't bad shots. And then Jimmy Butler got the board, raced down the floor, wide open 3.
In transition.
In transition. Also could have drove.
One-on-one with Al Horford.
Yes, one-on-one with Al Horford. Probably would have at least gotten to the line at the very least, especially with how they give Jimmy foul calls all the time. Said he pulled up from 3. Looked all right when he shot it, and it just kind of... What was it, front iron?
Yeah, front iron. Front iron fell short. Just came up just a little bit short on it, but that has to do with probably he was a little tired, I would imagine, and he just didn't get enough on it, which I don't think it's a bad shot at all, because as I said on Twitter, if he makes that shot, everyone's praising him, like, oh my goodness, what a shot by Jimmy Butler to send them to the, not letting him get a chance to force overtime or something like that, just winning it right there. And I think that's the reason why it was a good shot. He was wide open, too. It's not like he was in double coverage.
Yeah.
He just missed it. That's something that as a star player you have to nail down. And he didn't, unfortunately. That's why they lost the game. But that's not the only reason they lost the game. But
yeah, because we also had the Max Strus random 3 that was just taken away, even though it's not clear that his heel was on the line.
Oh, no.
I still can't believe that. Like, there's not enough evidence. There's not enough evidence to take that 3 away. and it was so random. And yes, this happens in both college basketball and in the NBA, but it's rare. And I can't remember seeing something like this in the playoffs where they take a bucket away. And obviously, even if it would have counted, the game would have been different in some other way.
Yeah.
But, it's something for the Heat to kind of hang their hat on and just be like, well, if we had that, it would have been that much closer.
We could have won. We would have been, we would have had a chance at the end.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have had to taken that shot.
I'm still in shock that happened. Like, how do you let that happen? They went to the monitor to review it to see if it was either a 2-pointer or a 3-pointer, which they do quite frequently during NBA games.
Yes, they do.
And sometimes if they call it a 3 and they're like, oh, his foot was on the line, they'll take away a point and put it back to a 2-pointer. But never have I seen them completely take away the shot in general. Like 5 minutes down the line. It wasn't like, it wasn't right away. Now, it's let's let them continue to play the game. Oh, we see that he stepped out of bounds. Now it's taking away the point. That shouldn't be allowed, I don't think.
And like we said, it's not clear that he stepped out of bounds. His heel, the back of his heel is in the air. Like, you could slide your finger under it, I think. Yeah, a piece of paper at the least.
I might be a little biased in saying that he wasn't out of bounds. He could have been, but it's not clear at all. Like, anytime there's an argument like, oh, he could have, by online and stuff, like, did he step out? That's not clear at all. And in that moment, since the call on the court was that it was good, and on top of that, they were going to review if it was a 2 or a 3, and if he was out of bounds, there's no one he's even close to the 3-point line, so why are you reviewing in the first place?
Yeah. No, I know, that was weird too. I feel like if you're reviewing it for if it's a 2 or a 3, then you shouldn't be able to take it away.
No.
Kind of like in the NFL. Like, if you're reviewing one thing, you don't get to review, like, the other half of it. And, like Luke just said, he is kind of biased because he's a Heat fan, but I'll be honest, I didn't really give a shit who won that game. I was going for the Heat, but like I said, I had no dog in the fight. His foot wasn't out of bounds, and there was no evidence. There was no clear-cut evidence that his heel was touching the floor out of bounds when the shot was released. So, just don't get that.
There's no clear-cut evidence that was justified to take away the 3 points in the game, other than Adam Silver called down to the office and was like, we need the Celtics to win this game. Yeah. For whatever reason. Probably because it would be a better matchup in the finals. And it is. It would be right. But that's not right. You can't do that. Yeah. It's NBA rigged. And it wouldn't be the first time that the NBA would do something like this either. Obviously, in the 2003 conference finals. But neither here nor there. But, yeah, that's something that you just can't get wrong.
Yeah. Like Luke said, he's never. We don't really see. Them taking away buckets too often. But most of the time when they do it after halves or quarters, they'll take it away. But this is just in the middle of the second or third quarter. I can't even remember.
Third quarter, I think.
His funny bone.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just tough.
You know why they call it the funny bone?
Why do they call it the funny bone?
Because it's the humerus.
Damn it.
God, that's not funny at all, though. They kind of hurt.
I've done that on this chair a couple of times, too. Oh. It was a good comeback effort by the Heat, too. They always had to come back in this game. It was 3 or 4 times that the Celtics would get it to 13 or 15, and then the Heat could get it to 4 or 5 and never any closer. Or they could get it to 10 when it was at 18 or 19. And that's how close that they could get it. They were slowly pulling away. They never had a lead. The Max Strus 3 late with under a minute was the closest that they ever got, and I think it was a 2-point lead. I think it was 98-96.
That was an incredible shot.
Oh yeah.
Whenever he started shooting it, I was like, what the hell are you doing? Guarded by 2 guys, not even close to the 3-point line, and then it went in, and I was like, never mind.
Yeah. It's always the no, yes. I don't know how we almost just forgot this, but Kyle Lowry's fat ass was horrible.
Well, Kyle Lowry has got to be the most annoying guy to play against in the entire NBA. if you're playing basketball, obviously Pat Bev has got to be he's got to be up there as well.
And probably Harden, too.
Yeah. I'm just talking about, like, if you have the ball, right, and you're dribbling up the court, and you see Kyle Lowry on the other side, you got to be like, damn it, here we go again. I hate this. Just get him off of me, you know? Because he's, not only is he, like, right up against you, and he's, like, throwing his arms around, he's flopping, but then, like, if he doesn't get the call, he's like, where's the call?
Yeah, he argues every call.
Yeah.
And also, the only play in this playbook is halfback dive, straight into the defender.
Exactly.
To get calls, and then he's on the floor just as much as Joel Embiid. It is wild. So, and he can withstand it because his ass just takes all the.
He doesn't even feel it.
Yeah, it takes all the collision force.
It's like a cushion for him.
He just gets right back up and does it again. It's ridiculous. They might need to look to impose a ban on Kyle Lowry's ass.
He's got to get rid of the implants before he can play again.
So, and the Mavs and Warriors pretty much never even had a close game. The only close game that they really had was like Game 4, when late in the fourth quarter the Warriors were like, "Fuck it, let's just try to win it real quick," and then they just like went balls to the wall and almost caught up to the Mavs, but they stole a game. And then they just got crushed back at home in San Francisco. Kind of some trolling, I think, by the Warriors. Because they were trolling in Game 4 that much until the very end, like I just said. And then they just made the Mavericks get on a plane all the way to San Francisco.
Like, yeah, you guys got to come out here.
Yeah, and then they just whooped them, and then they're like, okay, turn around and go back home to Dallas. So, but yeah, Game 1 is an hour and 12 minutes in San Francisco tonight.
Predictions.
Yeah. Prediction time. Honestly, I really just want to say Warriors in 5. But a lot of people are saying that Celtics are going to take it to 6 or 7. But I think it's Warriors in 5 or 6.
Oh, we'll pick one. Which one?
I'll say Warriors in 6.
Okay. I want to say the Celtics, but I saw this prediction meter the other day, and it was like the Celtics have an 83% chance to win, and I was like, what? That doesn't make any sense, you know? The Warriors have just as much of a chance to win as the Celtics do, I think. It's just a matter of who plays better. They're both title teams.
Mm-hmm.
Both squads are looking for something to prove. Man, I think the Celtics are the better team, but the Celtics' biggest obstacle was like getting to the finals. You know, winning the Eastern Conference was like their big goal, their big prove it to everybody, look, we can do this. And I feel like teams that like reach that goal,
Kind of like the Hawks.
kind of like the Bengals.
Last year, almost, when they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, they're like, we've arrived.
Yeah,
And then it was just over.
exactly. Kind of like the Bengals this year. It was like, we made it to the Super Bowl, no one else, but then the Rams were, the whole time, they didn't care about any of the games until they won the Super Bowl. And I feel like that's kind of how the Warriors are. They're just kind of gliding here. And the Celtics are coming off back-to-back 7-game series.
Mm-hmm.
That's got to be tiring on their bodies.
See,
I think it was Warriors in 7.
Okay, that would be awesome.
And I think Curry wins the MVP. His first ever.
That is an extended NBA Finals. You know, that's the longest it will go.
Yeah.
And so that would be awesome for us. But you said that you think the Celtics have the better team, but honestly, I think if Robert Williams is going to play super hurt, then that really just leaves like Al Horford and Marcus Smart to be some key defenders and stuff.
Marcus Smart's the defensive player of the year.
Yeah, I know, but I think if Robert Williams is hurt, then I think the Warriors are actually the better team, especially if the Warriors somehow get Gary Payton back.
He's supposed to be coming back.
Yeah,
and he's playing tonight.
I don't know if he's actually even going to play, even if he does come back. But they said Andre Iguodala is also looking to be back. So
he might just be in a Udonis Haslem role, though.
Yeah, a coach.
Yeah,
that's already what he's kind of doing.
That was funny seeing him like walk off to the locker room, just like like hating himself. Like that clip of him just walking, like going, oh. Yeah, it's like usually you see a star player doing that, like when they come up just short, but it's you doing it as. It was so funny to see that. But it shows that he does care just as much as the other guys.
Yeah.
So.
Another thing, like Jimmy Butler, he just kind of walked off into the locker room like real calm like and stuff, but
he knows Jimmy Butler knows something.
Jimmy Butler also is going to beat himself up night and day over that missed shot.
I don't think so.
I think he will. I mean, that's just how kind of the competitor that he is. It's just going to be in his mind, three-playing over and over and over again. It might not affect him too much mentally, but it's definitely rewinding over and over again in his mind.
Oh, that could be. But I think the way that he walked off, the way that he was like talking to Tatum after the game and stuff, like smiling at him, like, hey, go win it. That's not Jimmy Butler. That's not usually what he would do. And so, to me, I think he knows something.
Are you maybe referring to Joel Trimble Embiid?
Potentially. I do think I've actually already spoken it into existence. I'm trying to speak it into existence. A Joel Embiid for Bam Adebayo trade this offseason that I don't think is too far. I mean, the Celtics are going to have to pay James Harden $40 million this year. Or not the Celtics, the 76ers. They're going to have to pay James Harden $40 million. This is the start of a rebuild for the 76ers. And I hate to say that for the 76ers fans, because it's just sad at this point for them. They came up not even really that close, if you think about it.
It kind of depends on the development of Tyrese Maxey, though. If he gets just as much better as he made, like, in terms of developmental growth from year 1 to year 2, if he has the same kind of growth from year 2 to year 3, I mean, he's an all-NBA player.
Yeah, but Pat Riley, he just seems to do things that create a winning culture. And I think if Embiid has any interest in coming to the Heat, he will make it happen.
No, I mean, I would be fine with it.
I mean, you can give up anybody except Butler, obviously.
Do you think that there's any world where they could have both Adebayo and Embiid?
I don't see why they would. I mean, Adebayo is not mobile enough to be a power forward, I don't think.
Yeah. But, I don't know. I know, Bam he's a much better defender.
Yeah, he's a good defender, but
so
I don't know. I feel like a Adebayo and maybe like Tyler Hero for Embiid. I feel like that would be in like a first round pick or something like that.
That's actually a lot for Embiid, but he was almost the MVP.
Yeah, and you're not even giving up your star player for that. So I think that would be a good deal for both. I mean, the Celtics the 76ers are getting quite a bit out of that.
Mm-hmm.
They can get their star player to pair with Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, and Hero can get his starting role that he's
been begging for.
Yeah.
Who is Max Strus? Like, he just came out of nowhere.
Oh, he played at Division II basketball.
No, he played at DePaul.
Yeah, but he started at Division II, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, but I'd never heard of him before a few weeks ago, and I was like, how is he starting for the number 1 seed in the playoffs?
Well, I think one of the biggest mysteries of this NBA playoffs, sure, he's a liability on defense, but the Heat were employing multiple liabilities on defense throughout this playoffs to not play Duncan Robinson as much as they did. Like, he barely touched the court. Yeah. And then I remember, like, the reporters were asking Spo, why he was barely touching the court. And he's like, I don't know. It doesn't really work into the game plan, but I'm going to try and get him on the court more. And he started to get him on the court more. It was still only like 5, 6, 7 minutes.
Which is weird because he was like a full-time player last year.
Yeah, and you know what the Heat were missing in the final 2 to 3 games of that series?
3-point shooter.
3-point shooting. And guess what Duncan Robinson provides? Perimeter 3-point shooting. And they just had none of it, really. So
what do we need? We need a 3-point shooter right now. It's almost as if
you just got $90 million.
It's almost like a guy. It's almost like we need a guy who we pay $90 million just to shoot threes right now. Oh, it's a shame we don't have him. He's right there on the bench. But I'm not going to question Eric Spoelstra because he's a Hall of Famer coach and he's very good. But he hasn't won a title without LeBron, so there's that. But
also, I forgot to mention this in the NFL. Ryan Fitzpatrick retired.
Today. That's true.
He was a fun player in the NFL.
Bounced around a lot.
Yeah. But it was magic. I think my favorite Fitzmagic. I have two favorite Fitzmagic games. The one against the Raiders when he had like his face mask ripped, like
when he got the Dolphins, and he just yeeted it down through.
Yeah, and it was completed. They went on to win that game. I have that video on my phone of that game-winning kick against the Raiders. It was incredible. I'd never seen anything like a collapse like
And then you cannot forget the week 1 when he was with the Buccaneers. I think it was the Browns they played.
Possibly.
And he scored, 5 touchdowns?
Yeah.
And the Buccaneers, this was when they were bad.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, Fitzmagic for MVP. It was literally been 1 week. It was like a Sammy Watkins situation.
My second favorite Fitzmagic moment is the miracle in Miami against the Patriots. Effectively ended the Patriots dynasty when you think about it. They hit the miracle play, and I can't even remember who scored the touchdown at this point. It may have been Kenyon Drake. I can't remember though.
Was that when Gronk tripped?
Yeah, it wasn't Gronk.
That was Tannehill.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
I'm pretty sure it was Fitzmagic.
No, because that wasn't that was the year before they ended the Patriots dynasty. The Miami Miracle.
The one with like all the laterals, and then the Patriots had to play in the wild card against the Titans, and then Logan Ryan got.
Those are different games.
I know. That's the playoffs. Like this was right before it.
That was the year before though. The game you're thinking of. That was Fitzpatrick. You're right. But the Miami Miracle took place in like November or something, or October. Something.
Yeah, it took place it was the last week of the season.
No, not the lateral game. You're thinking of a completely different game. The Dolphins blew him out, I'm pretty sure.
Ryan Fitzpatrick, miracle throw. No.
This says December 31st. That would have been the last week of the season against the Patriots. No. If you look at Miami, just look at Miami Miracle and
great podcasting right here.
Oh yeah. We're figuring this out. Great dispute. I know I'm right though. Fitzpatrick leads Dolphins to shocking upset.
Fitzmagic's legendary performance versus Patriots, NFL 2019.
What was the score of the game? 27-24. Okay, now I'm going to look up Miami. Hold on, I'm just going to go to YouTube and look it up because I'm going to show you this play. Because I know that the game that you're thinking of, like when they did all the laterals and Gronk tripped right, they had Gronk in at safety. That game took place much later. Miami Miracle. All right, this is the play you're thinking of, right? Yes, that's Tannehill throwing this ball. If you watch it here, of course there's an ad because it's YouTube. Obviously, you can't watch a simple YouTube video without an ad nowadays.
What am I thinking of?
I don't think it was one play. It was just he had an incredible game to knock off the Patriots.
Oh, okay.
That's Ryan Tannehill.
Ryan Tannehill right there. Number 17 throws it to Kenny Stills. He lateraled it to whoever that was, and then Kenyon Drake got it, and he just like zigzagged across the field.
Okay. Well, I had half of it right. Kenyon Drake. Okay, but that is not a Fitzmagic moment, I guess. But there was a game.
I mean, recap of it right now on DraftKings.
Are you reading the recap of the game where he just torched them, and then they had to play the Titans in the wild card?
Yes, Fitzpatrick threw yards.
Devontae Parker led the team
with 137 yards. And he was facing Stephon Gilmore.
Gilly Lock got
Yeah,
Gilly shocked.
exactly.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay.
Fitzpatrick. This is actually not, if you're watching on YouTube, this is not a Fitzpatrick jersey.
You're watching.
That is my newly acquired Sam Howell jersey.
That's the same
The Washington football team / Commanders. So, which I'm excited for because I'll be able to parade around in Washington, D.C. next week. So, excited for that.
It's going to be tough season.
Let's go ahead and do some segments here.
All right, my first one is the Los Angeles Dodgers. They just recently, last night, got swept by the Pittsburgh Pirates in Dodger Stadium. It's the first time that's happened since 2000. And how do you let that happen? How do you let the Pirates sweep you in your own place? And not only to mention that just a few weeks ago, they lost 2 out of 3 in Pittsburgh. So the Pirates are 5-1 against the Dodgers this year.
Kryptonite.
Luckily for the Dodgers, the Pirates won't be in the playoffs. They won't have to worry about it. But they won't. They will not be in the playoffs. There's no way they get top 6 in the NL. I will buy all Pirates gear and literally wear it into the stadium. Most of them do if they make the playoffs, but I would do almost anything like in Pirates gear if they make the playoffs. I'm that confident. But also speaking about the Dodgers, there was a guy who tweeted out last night. It was a Dodgers fan, and he said,
"Is this the bet thing?"
Yeah. Well, he said, "No, that's not the bet. Like the guy who bet 150,000."
Yeah, that was going to be one of mine. I'll tag that on real quick, and then you can get back to it. So, a bet that, when they don't know the better for whoever's placing a bet, they just call them Better X or whatever. Placed 150,000 on Dodgers minus 2.5 against the Pirates last night to pay out to be 280,000, but the Pirates won 8-4, so they lost 150,000.
Well, I mean, that's not a bad bet either because
baseball is kind of dumb to bet on.
But think about this. They had just lost 2 straight to the Pirates. This guy is thinking, surely, with Julio Urias going, one of our best pitchers, surely we won't get swept at home by the Pirates. That's logical thinking. I don't blame the guy.
It is logical, but I also just think baseball is so dumb to bet on because, literally anything can happen. You can say that for any sport, but especially baseball. I mean, literally, a guy could hit 2 home runs one day, and, maybe they walked a guy before that, and, he hit the guy home, and you win 3-0. You just don't get the bats rolling, and you have a great performance with Urias or whoever's pitching. Just doesn't matter.
Exactly.
That's why I also think, betting sometimes in the NFL is so dumb because any given Sunday, but
the Jacksonville Jaguars can beat the Bills.
Exactly.
But yeah, the thing that I was talking about, this guy tweeted out and he said, if the Dodgers get swept by the Pirates tonight, I will go to Dodger Stadium dressed in full Astros players gear. He goes, pants, cleats, everything. And so, funny, now this guy, I guarantee he'll be held to his word because the tweet had 50,000 likes. Most of those probably came after they got swept, but now this guy has to buy a full Astros uniform, and people are trying to tack on add a sign that says Altuve didn't cheat.
Oh no,
he would get murdered. Then he would get killed in the stadium.
And there would be no charges pressed.
Oh yeah, definitely not.
Everybody
guy died,
kind of cheek.
So I found that funny as well to go along. So just the Dodgers in general and their fans, tough scene.
This is an interesting one. Reggie Bullock and Dorian Finney-Smith call each other the Bang Bros. I don't know if that's a tough scene because they did just get whomped out of the playoffs, and then they announced that they call each other the Bang Bros.
Well, I mean, maybe they could get a deal signed.
Yeah, they could possibly
sponsorship.
My next one is I had to pay a decent chunk of change out of pocket for the broken Chromebook that I spoke of.
Yeah. So it turns out just handing it to him and and walking away was not a good option.
Yeah, it actually doesn't work. They turned it on, and they just looked at me like, "You're just gonna give this to us and walk away?"
yes, that's exactly what I was going to do.
7 years old, take it and scrap it like you were going to do anyway. So, yeah, it was tough.
Did you shoot your? It really looked like you took a gun and just shot a bullet.
It did, but no, we talked about this. I dropped it on the corner of a table.
Yeah.
And it didn't shatter. Like, there wasn't, like, glass pieces. It's literally just, like, the internal parts of the screen just broke.
Yeah.
And like if you've ever seen a phone or a computer or a TV that was shot or hit with, like, a baseball or something, it looked like that kind of break on the screen.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. It just hit the table. So, you have any tough scenes?
Yes, I do. I have. So recently, the Obi-Wan series on Star Wars has been released. I think we're up to 3 episodes now.
Yes.
And in the first episode, one of the cringiest scenes I have ever seen. So this is a spoiler alert. So if you haven't seen it and want to see it, then don't listen to this. But basically, 10-year-old Princess Leia is being chased around in the woods by these people that are trying to kill
Professional kidnappers.
Professional kidnappers. Here's my first problem. One, she is outrunning them. And she's 10 years old. And these guys are professional kidnappers. There's 2 of them. She's outrunning them. 2, they're slipping and falling on really sticks. Not big logs, really sticks. Tiny sticks they're tripping and falling on. And perhaps the most ridiculous part of all, there was this one scene where she ducks under a tree branch. The guy is like 4 steps behind her. And he definitely saw her duck under the tree branch, so he knows there's one there. And he just runs directly into it and stops. Like, that's peak cinema right there. I don't know what they were going for. And it had nothing, it's like, oh, she's trying to run away and get kidnapped. It's cheesy. But she ended up getting kidnapped anyway.
Yeah.
So why did they have to add all that ridiculous stuff in?
Yeah.
It makes no sense. It was cringy to watch.
Yeah, not Deborah Chow's greatest directing moment, but I will say this, one theory I saw out there is they may have just been trying to not hurt the princess when they were grabbing her.
True.
But, like, the chase scene was so funny, bad. Episode 3, was excellent. I just watched it yesterday.
I have not watched it.
It's amazing. I won't spoil anything, but it was incredible. I don't know a tough scene. Kevin Seigler, the Yankees 2018 first round pick, I want to say. He bat flipped
In Double-A. This is in Double-A.
in Double-A. He bat flipped on what he thought was a game winning shot. And it was actually at the most going to be a roped double. And since he bat flipped and walked around for a few seconds, he got thrown out at second, and that was the game. Instead of walking the ball. So that was funny. Yeah.
Well, it wouldn't have walked off. If he was safe at second, it wouldn't have walked off.
No. If it was gone,
Yes.
it would have walked off.
But it was funny.
So, yeah.
Tough scene for sure.
Yeah. Also, I went to the St. Louis Zoo today, a tradition unlike any other in the city of St. Louis. Zoo train pass on my wrist right now.
I still have it on the wrist. Ice on the wrist.
When I go to the zoo, I always go to the Penguin House. It is my favorite exhibit at the zoo. I get to the Penguin House, and both my dad and my younger sister, we go there last because that's the only place I wanted to go was the Penguin House and the elephants, but mostly the Penguin House. And there's this long line, and we had already stood in this like 30-minute line for the train and all this other shit. And so they both just looked at me and were like, "Are you really gonna make us stand here for the Penguins?" And I couldn't put them through that, and I had to miss out on the Penguins.
Oh,
So that's another tough scene.
I love the Penguins.
My favorite.
The Penguin House is iconic.
Yeah, I mean, it smells horrible in there, but it is the best.
Did you see the Dolphins at least?
I don't believe they have dolphins. The seals.
Seals.
They were awesome. They're like little missiles underwater, and they're so cute. But they're also like respectively fat, and it's just really classy. They're just like these little missiles under the water, and they like twirl around, and they're on their back.
They're like Kyle Lowry.
Yeah, they are like Kyle Lowry.
But fat.
Also, they are much classier than Kyle Lowry. They're not just bumping into shit for shits and giggles. So, shout out to the sea otters or whatever they are.
Yeah, the seals, the walruses.
Also, the bear was really cool today. He was just
doing
all kinds of tricks in the water, jumping up and down. It was awesome.
Nice.
Good zoo day. Luke hasn't seen the new Top Gun Maverick, but I went and saw it. I do recommend watching the original before you go see it, just so it's fresh in your brain. But it also was just taken off Netflix on the 31st, so that time may have passed you by.
It seems weird why they took it off Netflix.
It was on Netflix just so people could watch it before the premiere, and then I guess it was only until the end of the month. But the new movie is heaps better than the original, and that's all I'll say. Like, it is a true modern day great cinema film, and I recommend you go see it. Even if you're not a big playing or Tom Cruise guy, I mean, it's a great story. So there are lots of parallels between the first one. That's why I say watch the original before you go. And it's also just a dynamite special effects and like the music in it and stuff like that. So yeah,
nice. I definitely will see it. I don't know if I'm going to see it in theaters or if I'll just wait till it comes out on its streaming services. But
it is a movie, I will say, Luke, that worth it seeing it on the big screen with the big planes and shit and and the sounds that they make. I mean, it is
IMAX worthy.
I mean, yeah, that would be incredible if you could see it in IMAX. Mm-hmm. I just saw it on,
regular movie screen,
grade 8 cinema, but it was really good. Also ate my popcorn. Almost, it was like 3 minutes into the film, like they were just getting done with like the opening credits, and I was already done with the popcorn, so that's pretty good.
That's the worst. I always try to time it perfectly. Like if the movie is not started yet, I'll set my popcorn down next to my seat. If there's people with me, which I don't think I've ever gone to a movie by myself, so there's always people with me, and I'll go to the bathroom. Like, I gotta get it out. I got to push it to the brink as much as I can. I usually end up somehow eating my popcorn before the movie starts, though. But no matter what I try, it just happens. I'm a machine.
Guess we can move
on. So wrap up the show here. Yeah, I think we have collective say hellos and kiss it goodbyes.
Yeah. We can just say them.
They're so big and they're so apparent that. So.
Okay. Pause, but. Yeah. Say hello to the real world. Like we mentioned, we graduated
from high school,
so now we actually have to do adult shit more often than usual.
Yeah.
Both of us are going to college, but still,
yes.
And we'll just get right to it. Our kiss it goodbye is our Chromebooks. We miss them more than we thought.
Oh my god. As I said, I was like, school somehow continued to bend us over even after we graduate. It's like an Achilles heel. It's like a rock in your shoe. It won't go away. It won't leave you alone, and that's kind of how I felt like, trying to figure out with these new devices that we got. And I mean, this is temporary for me. I'll be getting a new one here soon, hopefully, because I was using the tablet, and like, the tablet USB, and then it hooked it up. It's a small USB port. And so my dumbass went to the store to get an adapter, and instead of getting an adapter, I got a cord. So I just wasted $10 pretty much on something I'll never use in my life. So, yes.
Yeah, he has a computer that doesn't have a real USB port. It's really interesting, actually. So,
well, it's technically a tablet, I think, but but it
works as a computer.
Yeah.
So, some other things I want to point out: UNC women's lacrosse won the Natty on Sunday. UNC's men's baseball defeated Tommy Tanks and North Carolina State to win the ACC championship on Sunday as well.
So they're going to the College World Series?
Well, they get to host a regional, and then they can go from there. And then another thing about, if you know who Tommy Tanks is, I think he broke the record for most freshman home runs.
Yeah.
He also just put his name in the transfer portal today.
Oh, really?
NC State. Yeah. So
hopefully he goes to Mizzou. That would be fun.
It's pretty funny, actually, as I hate State. So, yeah. We do have a treat to end the show. We have two.
Oh, yes. I got to pull it up.
The NFL segments. One for the missed show on Memorial Day and one for this week. So yeah, we're going to get ready to do that. We're going to pretty much wrap up today's show.
I think we both enjoyed that last week. I think this is the same reel that
Yeah, if it lands on Atlanta, we can't do that one. That's the only one we can't do.
Oh, shit. What just happened? What the?
No.
Did it die?
No, because the light's still on. The screen just disappeared.
Oh, yeah, I think it did die because you just got logged off.
Oh.
Shit. See, the technology nightmare just continues. So I guess for this last segment,
Singular microphone.
singular microphone, but we've got to get in this segment. It's one of our favorite segments.
So. I cannot believe that.
All right, Clint. Clint's got to get out of the way here. I mean, it's a moment like anything that can go wrong. You started the timer too.
It just started as soon as All right, how do I get to the NFL? How do I get to the NFL wheel?
I got it. Wheel of NFL. Wheel of names. Yes, this is the one I was just on. I think this one. It was literally on the screen, and then the computer just died. Oh no, this was the same one. All right, here we go. We're spinning it. Please be the Falcons. That would be funny. Oh, football team.
The Commanders. It says Redskins on there, but football team. What the fuck? How about that? Okay, so 5 seconds here to gather your thoughts, Lucas.
I don't even have any thoughts.
Okay.
You want me to go first?
Sure.
All right.
3,
2, 1. All right. The Commanders are an abomination of a team, mostly because of their owner, Dan Snyder. They will never be anything of importance until he resigns or steps down. But the Commanders is a new name. It's a fresh change to their team, so maybe they can get something going. Ron Rivera is a very good coach, so they got that going for them. And they got some good young quarterback play. They'll have a lot to choose from.
Yeah, they also have some awesome defensive players. Chase Young and company, Montez Sweat, Jonathan Allen. They have another big Alabama guy on the line. Most importantly, though, they drafted Sam Howell in the 5th round this year, as well as they drafted Jahan Dotson in the 1st round. 15 seconds left here. They play in Rowjohn, Maryland, and they have the worst stadium in the world that is a complete death trap.
Over-under of 2.5 ACL tears on the field this year.
Take the over.
Over.
Okay, that's the minute for the football team.
Eliminate them. They're done.
All right, spinning again.
Oh, the Raiders.
Las Vegas Raiders. Okay.
I thought it was going to be the Rams for a second. That would have been fun.
Okay, 5 seconds here to gather some thoughts.
All right. The Raiders team is one of the most interesting ones because they have a new head coach in Josh McDaniels, who is surprisingly fat this year. They just traded for Devontae Adams, who is one of my favorite players. He's a dynamic player, and him and Derek Carr are going to be really good this year. Derek Carr, one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the league, personally, I think, and he can do anything. He can lead him to a playoff. He just can't. He can't win a playoff game, unfortunately. And that's all I got on them.
The Raiders will be playing in probably the toughest division in football this year. And it's going to be really tough for them to make the playoffs. They do play in maybe one of the nicest looking stadiums ever, and their fans showed up big time last year. Also, their owner, haircut in the world. Bowl cut. The Carr to Adams connection, the Fresno State connection, should be elite.
I almost feel like a minute isn't enough for that, but it's almost like it goes by too fast.
I think that's almost the point. So we'll be back doing some NFL minute segments next week. Sorry for all the technical glitches this week. It's been a rough couple of hours here.
Yeah, just be glad we got it in. We almost gave up.
Yeah. So that's our show. June is looking to be a very weird month for our podcast, as I will be away for almost a complete 2 weeks, and then later in the month, Luke is going to be gone for about a full week. We do have a strategy in place to try and get some shows in, but after today's technical nightmare, I'm not sure how it's going to look yet.
We may be taking a few weeks hiatus, but the plan right now, Cam's going to be gone for the next few weeks, and then I'm going to be gone for the next few weeks after that. So we're going to try and do mobile shows and do it over Zoom. So this will be the last normal looking YouTube episode. Next time that you see us on YouTube, it will either be in a few months or it will be over Zoom, and it'll be split screen and stuff like that, and we'll have headsets on and all that. But hopefully everything goes smoothly and we can get the show, back to normal date. This show will constitute as last week and this week, so don't expect another episode until the weekend of, I think it's 10th, 11th, and 12th, that weekend. So that's when we'll be recording that, or the 10th, Saturday. So that week will be, when the next show comes out. So,
honestly, I think the next regular setup show that will look just like this one is supposed to be June 19th. That is that Sunday. So that's a little ways out. And like I said, me and Luke are going to be working to try and figure something out for when I'm on the road, when he's on the road maybe. So, but that's our show. Once again, sorry for all the technical glitches today. But, we did miss kind of shooting, the show. Yeah. So even though we've had a lot going on, we do look forward to this. So, thanks for listening, and we will see all you guys soon.